Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're embarking on a deeply personal and I think incredibly vital topic: how you can thrive after narcissistic abuse.
Yeah.
So many of you listening might have felt, manipulated, maybe gaslighted, or just utterly drained by a toxic relationship. Could be with a parent, a partner, another family member.
It's a reality far too many people navigate, unfortunately. And our mission today really is to try and cut through some of the noise.
Right.
We want to extract the core insights from the sources you've shared, give you a shortcut maybe to understanding this really complex dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
We're drawing from experts like Dr. Carol McBride to give you 3 practical steps to reclaim your power and, well, move forward.
That's exactly the goal. And just a quick note before we really jump in here, this deep dive, it does touch on emotional trauma.
Yeah, it's sensitive stuff.
It really is. So please, just take care of yourself as you listen. Okay, so to lay the groundwork, let's first maybe clarify what we even mean by narcissistic abuse.
Okay, so at its core, narcissistic abuse stems from someone who shows traits that, in their most extreme form, might lead to a diagnosis of narcissistic personality disorder.
Right. The formal diagnosis isn't always the point, though, is it?
Exactly. We're talking about behaviors like a profound need for control, often a real lack of empathy, and this constant, almost insatiable need for admiration.
Mm-hmm.
Whether there's a diagnosis or not, it's these behaviors that constitute the abuse.
And how does that focus on their own needs? How does that specifically play out, say, in a family with kids? Dr. Carol McBride talks a lot about this in Will I Ever Be Good Enough?
Yeah, she does. It's often where the narcissistic parent's needs just completely overshadow everyone else's. Completely.
Okay.
And this can leave their children feeling, well, invisible or constantly blamed for things, like they're always walking on eggshells. It's a really disorienting experience that, it shapes their whole sense of self.
Wow, that sounds incredibly damaging. And this self-focus, it often comes out in specific manipulative tactics, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. One of the most maybe insidious ones is gaslighting.
Gaslighting.
This is where they deliberately make you doubt your own reality. They might twist your words or dismiss your feelings by saying things like, oh, you're just too sensitive, or that never happened.
Right, denying your experience.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
designed to make you question your own sanity, your memory.
I can only imagine how confusing that must be. And another tactic, one that often catches people off guard, is love bombing,
Ah, yes.
where someone just showers you with intense affection, attention, usually right at the beginning.
Over the top sometimes.
Yeah, and then they just abruptly pull it away once they feel like they've got you hooked, leaves you reeling, desperate to get back to that initial high.
Yes, it's a really powerful manipulation technique.
Mm.
And then you've got what are sometimes called flying monkeys.
Flying monkeys, right, from
Right.
The Wizard of Oz.
Exactly. These are other people, could be siblings, relatives, maybe mutual friends that the narcissist recruits to basically do their dirty work, to pressure you or blame you.
So, like, a narcissistic parent convinces your sibling that you're the one causing all the trouble.
Precisely. Or that you're being disrespectful. And they effectively turn that sibling against you, all to maintain their own control.
Well,
It creates this awful triangulation effect. Devastating, really.
it truly sounds like it. This stuff can leave someone feeling just worthless, like they're the problem, always chasing this approval they're just never going to get.
Yeah.
But here's the core truth, and we really want to emphasize this for you, the listener. It is not your fault.
Absolutely not.
And you are definitely not alone in this. So many people navigate these incredibly challenging dynamics.
It's true.
The insidious nature of these patterns, it just chips away at your self-worth, makes it so hard to see things clearly. This deep dive is really about helping you gain that clarity.
And a critical insight here, I think, is that the goal isn't just identifying the abuse. It's understanding its profound impact, the impact on your sense of self. That's what paves the way for healing.
Okay, so with that understanding of what narcissistic abuse looks like, how do you actually break free? How do you start to thrive?
Right.
We're going to explore 3 powerful steps now. They're directly inspired by Dr. Carol McBride's work, designed to help you reclaim your power and begin that healing journey.
Okay.
So let's dive into the first crucial step: recognizing and accepting the abuse. Sounds simple, maybe, but it's often the absolute hardest part, especially when it's, embedded deep in family dynamics or long-term relationships.
It really is. And Dr. Carol McBride emphasizes just how foundational this recognition is, particularly in narcissistic families.
Mm.
You mentioned her book, she talks about how in these families, the parents' needs just completely overshadow everyone else's.
So what should people look for, like concrete signs?
Look for consistent patterns. Ask yourself, are you routinely blamed, almost like you're the designated scapegoat for family problems?
Hmm.
Does a parent or partner consistently twist your words, dismiss your feelings, deny things you clearly remember happened, making you question your memory? That's classic gaslighting right there in action.
And what about those flying monkeys we talked about?
Yeah.
Siblings, maybe?
Right. Sometimes they might pressure you to just keep the peace,
Mm.
even when that peace comes totally at your own expense, harms your well-being. It can feel like the entire system is just set up to keep you trapped.
Yeah. Feels impossible sometimes.
But here's a truly transformative insight.
Yeah.
Accepting that this is abuse and, crucially, internalizing that it is not your fault, that is a game changer.
How so?
Well, it's not just a mental shift. It's like a radical re-anchoring of your identity. You shift from seeing yourself as flawed or the problem to seeing yourself as aware.
Aware. I like that.
And that awareness is the first real act of reclaiming yourself. Dr. McBride actually suggests a practical exercise. Try writing down one specific moment, a time where you distinctly felt something was really off. Maybe a time you were unfairly blamed or made to feel small.
Just writing it down.
Yeah, naming it helps you solidify that truth for yourself.
Yeah.
Helps you start that internal separation from the abuse.
That sounds like a really tangible way to begin. And understanding that, recognizing it, that naturally leads us to the next vital step, right? Which is
Yeah.
setting boundaries and limiting contact.
Exactly.
This is where you actively start to protect your peace.
Absolutely essential, especially, again, in those narcissistic family dynamics where boundaries are often just completely ignored, blown right through.
Like how?
Like, the abuser might invade your personal space, totally disregard your emotions, demand access to your life, your time, without a second thought.
Oh.
So setting boundaries can mean different things. For some, it might mean going no contact, cutting off the narcissist entirely. That's often necessary if the abuse is severe.
But that's not always possible.
No, not always. So it might mean low contact, like maybe sticking to brief, factual texts if you absolutely can't avoid them. Perhaps you share children with this person, that kind of thing.
So practical example. If a narcissistic parent is demanding constant attention, you might actually say, I need to focus on my well-being right now, so I won't be available to talk for the next few days.
Exactly. And then this is the hard part. You have to stick to it.
Right. And if those flying monkeys start calling, trying to pressure you to fix things or just make night...
You calmly hold your ground. But you asked why this is so hard.
Yeah, it sounds simple, but doing it feels huge.
It is huge. Because guilt often creeps in, or obligation, or these deep-seated fears of abandonment. They're powerful feelings. But setting boundaries is such a profound act of self-love, self-protection. It's not just saying no to someone else. It's literally like rewiring your nervous system, helping it understand you have agency again.
Breaking that old pattern.
Exactly. Breaking that deep-seated pattern of submission, of always trying to appease them. Even a small step can make a huge difference.
Like what?
Try setting just one boundary this week. Maybe decide you're not going to answer those manipulative phone calls after a certain hour. Or you'll cut short a conversation when you feel your energy just draining away.
Oh, cool.
You're building your strength, your self-respect with every single boundary you manage to establish and hold.
That makes sense. Building that muscle. And that leads us then to the critical final piece, rebuilding your self-worth and healing.
Yes.
Because narcissistic abuse, especially from family, it can just leave you feeling utterly not good enough. Exactly like Dr. McBride's book title says. It just erodes your sense of who you are.
It's so true. That constant criticism or maybe neglect or being the family scapegoat while another sibling is praised constantly, the golden child,
Right.
it slowly, surely chips away at your confidence, leaves you with these really profound internal wounds. But the good news is, you absolutely can start to counteract this, and you can start small.
Okay, how small? Give us some really practical examples for someone listening right now thinking, where do I even begin?
Okay. Start by journaling maybe one thing you appreciate about yourself each day. Even something really simple, like your kindness or your resilience for getting through this far.
Okay, one thing.
Yeah. Practice self-care. And this doesn't have to be elaborate spa days,
Right.
Even a 5-minute meditation, listening to a song you love that lifts you up, a short walk outside in nature. These things can help soothe your nervous system, which has likely been in this constant state of high alert for years.
Fight or flight mode.
Constantly. And this work, It isn't about fixing something that's broken in you. It's about systematically rewiring those deep, often unconscious narratives. Those feelings of unworthiness that got instilled by the abuse, you're replacing them with truths about your inherent value.
And connecting this to the bigger picture, healing often requires, well, maybe some professional support too, right?
Oh, absolutely. Therapy can be incredibly valuable, especially with someone who's actually trained in understanding narcissistic abuse dynamics,
Why specifically?
because they get it. They can help you grieve the healthy family or the healthy relationship you wished you had, the one you deserved. And they help you fundamentally rebuild your identity, separate from that distorted version the narcissist tried to impose on you.
That makes sense.
And remember, the key thing is, you're not broken. You're simply in the process of rediscovering your inherent worth and strength. So maybe try picking just one self-care activity for this week. Could be writing a positive affirmation on your mirror, scheduling 15 minutes for an activity you genuinely enjoy, just for you.
Yeah.
Every single step forward, honestly, it really counts.
These 3 steps, then recognizing the abuse, setting those boundaries, and then rebuilding your self-worth, they really do sound like the foundation to, well, to thrive again.
They are.
So what does this all mean for your continued journey of healing? Where do you go from here?
Well, healing from narcissistic abuse is definitely a journey, right? Not really a destination you just arrive at, but you are stronger than you know. So to recap, first, recognize the abuse. Really internalize that it is not your fault.
Okay, step 1.
Step 2, set boundaries. Protect your peace, protect your energy.
Step 2, got it.
And third, rebuild your self-worth through consistent self-care and seeking out genuinely supportive connections, because you truly deserve relationships that lift you up, not ones that tear you down.
Absolutely. And to help keep moving forward on this path, we have some fantastic resources that were mentioned in your sources.
Yes, some really good ones.
First, there's Will I Ever Be Good Enough by Dr. Carol McBride. You can find it on Amazon or Audible.
Great book.
It offers really practical steps specifically for healing from narcissistic family dynamics. Perfect if you're trying to understand and break free from those inherited patterns.
Definitely. And another resource, though, is a heavier read, maybe approach it when you feel ready, is People of the Lie by M. Scott Peck, also on Amazon or Audible.
Okay, People of the Lie. What's the focus there?
It dives really deep into the psychology of manipulative behaviors, even touching on the concept of evil. It offers a different, maybe more psychological or even philosophical lens on these complex personalities.
Gotcha. So approach with care.
Yeah. And critically, if you are in crisis right now, if you need immediate support, please reach out to the National Domestic Violence Hotline.
So important.
They're available 24/7. You can visit thehotline.org, or you can text START, S-T-A-R-T, to 88788.
Okay, that's thehotline.org or text START to 88788. These tools, these resources, they're here to guide you on your healing journey. They're not just books. They're like roadmaps to reclaiming your life.
Yeah, exactly. We really encourage you to explore them if they feel right for you, and just continue your own deep dive into self-discovery and healing.
So as you reflect on everything we've discussed today, here's something to think about. What's one specific, maybe small step you're going to take this week? Just one thing to reclaim your power or to foster your own self-worth. Think about it. Maybe visualize yourself doing it. And then take that step. Remember, you're not alone in this. And you are enough.
Tool number 1, focus on your goals. What are your priorities? So prioritize your life. Prioritize your values. Prioritize your principles. So focus on your ambitions, your passions. Okay? What makes you smile? What makes you laugh? What makes you really feel like getting up out of bed and going after what you want in life? It's a good idea to expect support. You don't have to go around thinking you're never going to get support. See, narcissists want you to think that your life is just hopeless. You're hopeless. You don't count. No, expect support. Expect to be treated well. The narcissist has already shown you that he or she doesn't have the capacity to treat you well, okay? They don't support you. So don't think that this is gonna always be your life. You thrive forward past codependent narcissistic relationships, expect to be supported in your efforts to do so. Tool number 3, take time out to restore your health, your mind, restore your overall well-being. You've gone through something. Codependent narcissistic relationships are designed to destroy, to damage. Your overall well-being, your health is compromised every time you're in a relationship. But because of personality type, such as a narcissist, take some time out for yourself. You're gonna need it. You need a safe environment to express what you have gone through.